Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. On this episode, we're going to talk about everything I've done to ruin my friendships. Yeah. Well, no, we're not. That's too much. It's going to be way too long. But there was one particular thing I was doing to ruin my friendships, and I felt really dismissed and discarded, even though I did the best I could, even though I thought I was a good friend. And if you're struggling with this too, if you think that you're showing up as a good friend, you might not be. And here are some reasons why. Are you ready? Let's go. You know, friendships are hard. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that they're not. They're not. And everything I talk about has been, of course, from my own life experience. And even now at 41, it's even more difficult to maintain friendships and relationships because, you know, you have life in front of you. But, you know, no one's really taught us, or taught me at the very least, that life was about finding friendships and building relationships with people. It was more about staying safe and making sure that you weren't getting hurt and you weren't hurting other people. Because if you were getting hurt, ouch, you know, you want to fix that. But if you were hurting other people, ouch, you want to fix that too. You don't want to be out there just not caring about other people's feelings. And so for most of my life, I've been thinking about what other people think and how they feel. And still, it kind of creeps in. It kind of creeps in. And what is different about today than yesterday is that I'm more aware of the fact that I might want to people please, or I might want to give my time, attention, and effort to people who just don't deserve it. But before getting to this point, that's all I did. All I did was give my time and energy in hopes that they would like me, they would appreciate me, they would accept me. Eventually, they would allow me to open up and share more about me. Eventually, they'd be curious about me and wanting to know who I am. And I can tell you that never happened. That just never, ever happened. As long as I've been doing it, for the decades that I have been doing it, I would sit back and reflect on those experiences. It has never happened for me. That moment, there was no Kelly Clarkson moment like this. You know, some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this and they just never get it. But it's because it doesn't come through people pleasing. In fact, it ruins all of your relationships. It ruined all my relationships. That's the one thing. I just kept making that same mistake. And because how I was raised and because of my life experiences, I thought that that's the way to go. I grew up around people pleasers. I grew up around people who held back their feelings and their emotions, and they put other people first, and they expected other people to do the same for them. Well, that's just a big disappointment. And I grew up thinking that that would be how you create friendships, but that was just never it. Like I said, I bend over backwards to be a good friend. I'd be the confidant. I'd be the problem solver. I'd be anything they needed just so I could feel valued and appreciated and accepted. And I was seeking validation from other people. I was really looking forward to them being the people that would praise me and accept me and come to my need when I needed it, my side when I needed some help, right? And I sat and I thought about this, and just recently, because, you know, that people-pleasing tendency tends to return. I'm much quicker at recognizing it and shutting it down. Like, okay, is this something I want? Is this something that benefits me? Is it something that's for me? Will I feel better for it? I always think about myself first instead of thinking about other people because of the decades of life experience where I felt dismissed and discarded, even though I put my heart and energy and soul into helping other people. But what I realized upon this reflection is that I gave people my self-worth. I didn't know where it was. I didn't know that it was valuable. When I talk about self-worth, I mean what I think about myself, the positive attributes of myself. I didn't have them for myself. There weren't any kind words that were floating around in my head. None. They weren't kind and supportive and saying, you can do it, you're smart, you're fantastic, you're very helpful, you're outgoing. The outgoing wasn't a thing. I mean, I did karaoke for some years. If you heard some of my podcasts before, I used to do karaoke, perform. I was also a KJ, karaoke jockey. But none of those words came from my head. They didn't come from inside. My inner critic was really awful. And so I didn't have any self-worth. I was looking for it outside of myself. I was looking for it in the affirmations of other people. So as I got older, more life experience, I realized that my self-worth is within me. It's not with another person. And every time I did the people-pleasing thing, every time that I thought about somebody else's needs before my needs, every time I was afraid that I would be rejected because I didn't help or because I wasn't kind when I really wanted to express anger and frustration, every time I did that, I handed over my self-worth. I handed over the value of who I am to another person. I put it in their hands. I surrendered it. And because I did, which is the wildest thing about self-worth, is that it's only worth something when you have it. It's only worth something when you have it. So I took this very precious gem, this very precious sense of self, this very precious entity that is me, and I handed it to someone else and they said, hey, you tell me what this is worth. Tell me. Is it worth anything if I give it to you? How about now? How about if I sing for you? How about if I dance for you? How about if I lend you some money? How about if I show up exhausted? How about if I promise not to complain? How about if I just give you the world? Well, is it worth anything? I always handed it to them, and it would never be worth anything. It would never be worth anything as long as it was in the hands of somebody else. It only has value and power and prestige when I have it. And that's the same for you. It only has value, power, and prestige when you have it. So I ended up being angry because I expected them to appreciate my self-worth. I expected them to show it value. Another thing about this, expecting them to show me value, it's interesting because I gave them my self-worth, and some people out there said, hey, this is pretty valuable. Hey, this is worth 1,000,000 shekels or worth 1,000,000 something. I don't know where shekels came from. Must be influenced by TikTok. But it is worth 1,000,000 something. It's worth a lot of money. This is priceless. This is very valuable. Hey, they would tell me. I would give it to them to praise it. I would ask for their opinion, their thoughts about me. I would ask for their opinions and thoughts about my self-worth, and they gave it a high value. And when they said those words to me, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. No, I didn't think so. There's no way. I can't believe you. That's because it's worthless if I don't have it. If I don't believe in it, if I don't hold on to it, if I don't believe that it's worth something, nobody else is going to be able to tell me that it's worth anything. And so when some people will come along and they would say, Lee, you're pretty cool, I'd be like, nah, no way. You're lying to me. I actually don't trust you. I don't believe you. Ruin the relationship. I can't see them. I can't see myself the way they see me. I couldn't see my value because I wasn't even holding on to it. It's worthless if I don't have it. And so that's how I ruined my relationships. I gave my self-value, my self-worth to other people. So that's when the turning point came. It was over many years and several experiences with people who were just like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I know, I'm just so messed up. I'm just so wrong. I'm just backwards. Thank you. Tell me all the bad things about myself because I have no self-worth. But I realized that experience right there where I gave people my self-worth and I was upset with them for telling me that it's worthless, telling me in ways as if they didn't appreciate the things that I've done for them. Those are the ways they told me it was worthless. I felt used and angry. So they told me it was worthless, and I believed them, but I was mad at them for telling me that was true. And then I would take my self-worth and give it to a different person. They would say, hey, this is pretty good. This is valuable. And I'd be mad at them for telling me that they believed in it because I didn't believe what they said. And I realized after doing this many, many times with many different people, just not believing it anyway, I'm like, wait a minute. I have to believe it myself. It's me. I'm doing something that's causing me not to make it valuable. I need to put my own belief into my own self-worth. And so here's a couple of things that I did to turn this around. One of the things that I stopped doing immediately, I would say immediately, but it took some time, of being very intentional, because there's like I have a fix-it brain, and when somebody has a problem, I launch into fix-it mode, and I want to go fix that, but that's not helpful because they won't appreciate the value, and I won't appreciate them if they told me it was valuable. So I had to stop doing that, period. So I stopped overgiving. I learned to set boundaries, and I started to say no when I felt drained. I started to think about what was important and special and interesting to me, and if this fell underneath it, if their ask or their need fell underneath it, or if my desire to help really helped me in the long run, or if it was just going to make me feel resentful and angry towards them because they didn't treat me the way I wanted them to treat me, or if they didn't appreciate me the way I wanted them to appreciate me. If I didn't get what I was going to want, if I didn't get what I wanted out of it, I immediately stopped doing it, stopped doing those things. And that was hard. That was hard because that was so much of my identity. But that was step one, is just stop overgiving. Just stop giving and giving and giving. I figured that the presence of me is enough. It is. And the presence of you in your friendships and your relationships around your family members is enough. And then the next thing I did was start reflecting on my self-worth. I started to list my qualities and my contributions to myself. I used to have this challenge that I did on Instagram called the I'm Good At Challenge. I'm good at something, and everybody's good at something. So to change my whole perspective and reframe the things that I've done and shut that inner critic up, I want to turn it into something that's positive. So if I'm spending all kinds of money, I overdraw my bank account all the time. Instead of saying things like I'm terrible at managing money, I say I'm good at messing up money. I'm good at messing up money. I want to turn it into a positive thing so that I'd be more willing to look at it, so I'd be more willing to change it. I'm good at things, because otherwise shame creeps in, and shame stops me from doing the changes that I need, because I focus on, I feel so bad that I'm not doing the right thing, instead of actually taking effort and action to do the right thing, or to do the thing that's going to move my life in a direction that I want it. So I reflected on my self-worth. I started thinking about those things that I'm good at. And this took effort. I wrote it down. I did this for maybe 30 days. I wrote it down, the things that I'm good at. Every single day I had to look around and figure out something that I was good at doing. I had to look at myself. And I came out with a lot more self-esteem. So that self-worth started to really shine. Like, yeah, I'm good at stuff. And then after I learned that I am good at things, I have value, I started to feel that. I started to prioritize my connections with other people who also saw value in me. So instead of being angry at those people who would look at my self-worth and say, oh yeah, this is really great, this is valuable, I looked at them as liars. I thought, those are the people I want to be around, because I know that I'm good at stuff. Maybe they'll see something that I'm also good at that I didn't know about before. Maybe they'll also see some value in me that I didn't realize I had. I'd love to learn more about that, because man, I'm awesome. I've had enough of hearing this inner critic that says I'm terrible. So I started seeking out people who respected my boundaries, who would compliment my self-worth. I prioritized those relationships, and it was life-changing. It was life-changing. So what I want to tell you today is that if you stop seeking validation from other people and start validating yourself, everything is going to change for you. All of your relationships are going to change for you. And I know it's scary because it was scary for me to have things change because people are going to leave your life. Maybe you're so used to fixing people that you don't have the ability to think that you can do anything else. You might really struggle to figure out what is your self-worth. But it's there. And remember, it's only valuable when you believe in it. So it's worth it for you to take the work. It's worth it for you to do the work and take the opportunity to sit down with yourself and think. Love on yourself. Reflect on your self-worth. Because that is going to stop you from being dismissed and discarded. Because you are the one that's dismissing yourself. You are the one that's discarding yourself every time you take your self-worth and put it in the hands of another person. Do you want to feel more included at work or make a close friend to share your deepest thoughts and secrets with? In my 12-week coaching program, you will get step-by-step directions on exactly how to do that. And no, you're not going to learn to be interesting, entertaining, or outgoing because that's not authentically you. You will get powerful skills to overcome the fear of being misunderstood, judged, or laughed at so you can say what you really want to say. And if you don't know how to start the conversation, don't know what to talk about, or don't know where to find people that want to listen to you, this program is for you. You are going to learn strategic vulnerability. It's a powerful skill where you will discover your authentic self and set boundaries so that you can remove toxic relationships from your life and never open up to the wrong person again. Between now and the end of the year, I have room available for just a few new clients to join my VIP coaching program. If you want to start your new year off with the skills to make more meaningful relationships, then don't wait to make this change. Apply at the link in the show notes. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you'd like me to give you actionable steps to create more meaningful relationships with something that's happening with you in your life, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com and I might read it here on the show. One-sided friendship with best friend. We have been best friends for more than 20 years. I now live in a different country, but we kept in touch regularly. The past years have been difficult though. She went through a difficult relationship, then a difficult breakup, then lots of stress at work and drama in life with her other friends. She sends me voicemails at least once a week to share with me what's going on in her life. And I am supportive. I try to comfort her and offer advice when she asks for guidance or help. But I have noticed that she seems to never have the time to listen to the part of my own voicemails where I share about my own life. When I went through difficult times myself a year ago, with one of my family members, she knows it, and she didn't open my text for a couple of months. Then she proceeded to come back to talk about her challenges while ignoring altogether what I shared about my painful family situation. I was cold for a while, and she seemed to make an effort to be more mindful. And I've been distant, even though I've been distant. Now this brings me to the past week. I'm going to visit the hometown where she lives in a couple of months, and I mentioned that a few times in my voicemails. It didn't seem like she listened to the part where I talk about my life or my projects, and she's been doing that again for months. Last week, my blood work came back with wrong values, and they have further testing for cancer. I shared my anxiety about that with my friend in a brief voicemail. It was 3 minutes long and straight to the point. She opened it but never replied. I seriously want to let go of her because I don't like the way she makes me feel right now, like I'm unimportant and invisible, and how she uses me as a therapist. But I'm hesitant because we have so many great memories together, and it used to be such a great friendship. What do you think? Well, thank you for this letter. I'm sorry for all of this. This is a terrible situation to be in, feeling as if you were unimportant and invisible, and especially with, this health thing that you have, a health scare. I wouldn't even call it a scare. I don't know what's going on, but I hope that you're well if you listening to this. I hope that you get good news back, But with that said, that's even more of a reason to release this person, because you're going to need supportive people in your life. If you were to get to a place where you needed more support, this person is just going to stress you out. And that's just not helpful, especially in this kind of situation, of course, but it's just not helpful in any situation. So you're very aware of the fact that you are being treated as if you are invisible, as if you are the therapist. Immediately, I thought therapist friend. That's what you are. And so when I think about the therapist friend, I think about, how people pay a therapist to go to, you pay your therapist, you give them money, and they don't say anything about their lives, and they do the best that they can to help you figure out your life. They've been trained for that. They're paid for it. But you, on the other hand, you're not paid for it. So the expectations around being a therapist it should be the same as if you were being a friend. If you're going to be a therapist friend, pay you for that time. But let me roll back here and talk about the dynamic of the friendship, the therapist friendship. So you've been put up on a huge pedestal, a high pedestal, right? You're in this position where you're giving your time, your energy, it's emotional labor that you're giving so that she can feel heard and understood, appreciated and accepted by you. You do all that in hopes that she will do the same for you, and it just doesn't work. It's not working. You're noticing it's not working. And the dynamic there, and the reason why it doesn't work, is because, well, she's put you on a pedestal. Like I put my therapist on a pedestal. I trust that they have all the really great answers for me. They have insight. They have ideas. And I also look at them as a person whose problems aren't real. Like the therapist doesn't have any problems in my world. When I pay them however much it is an hour, $2.50 an hour, when I pay them, I don't care about what's going on with them. Honestly. It's like, honestly, they are there to serve me, and they're in that mindset too. It would be the weirdest thing, the most uncomfortable thing, if my therapist had come out and said, I'm having so many marital problems. I just don't know what to do, Lee. Coach Lee, help me. I'd run out there so fast. You broke the social construct of this relationship. The contract of the relationship says that I dump and you help me fix. I'm not capable of solving your problems or helping you solve your problems. You, therapist friend, have all the tools. You've been helping me for my entire life. I don't know how long you've been helping. You said you're friends for 20 years, but I imagine a dynamic like this might been happening for a long time, because it's something that I've done for years, is help, fix. Like just imagine, I can't help you. I can't help you. I can't help you. You have all the answers for me. You've always had the great advice. You always had the listening ear. I don't know what to do. And so I imagine that for a moment that maybe she's full of anxiety and she doesn't know how to help you. Maybe that's something that's happening. We don't need to look at what's happening with her, though. We don't need to look at the why behind it. Really, where you are, you need to focus on how you feel about what's happening with you today. Right? And our brains don't want to do that because we don't want to let go of things that we like, or we hope that has potential. That's why people collect things. People hoard things. They keep it in their house. They say, one day I'm going to fix this up and I'm going to change this and I'm going to do this and it'll be different. And you hang on to the notion and the idea that the relationship will be different. You hang on to that idea that one day it'll be different because it was great in the past. It worked very well. Well, here's the question that I want you to ask yourself. How will you know that this relationship will be different? What are the things that they could possibly do to show you that their relationship with you is going to change? And they have to be consistent with it. As I know in your letter, you said that they started to listen to you a little more and they started to be more intentional, but only when you got cold, only when you pulled away. They didn't want to let you go, so they thought they'd just throw a couple breadcrumbs at you. And that's how you're feeling right now. So you need to know, what is the expectation of your relationship? What's the limit? And what do they need to do to actually show up for you? So you tell them and you hold them accountable for it. Say, hey, I need you to be accountable for the things that you say that you're going to do. And if you can't do this, I'm going to have to let go of the relationship. And that's for you, listener, writer, that's for you. If they can't do what you want them to do and you're stuck right there, you have to examine this hope that your relationship will be different. Why? What stops you from going out to find other people? You're already living in a different country. You'll ruin your relationships if you continue to give and give and give. Eventually, I didn't say this in the introduction or in the first part of this podcast, but eventually, all the relationships that I gave myself worth to, they also discovered that it wasn't worth anything. So I'm over here giving myself worth, saying, do you think I'm valuable? Can you do things for me? Can you show up for me? And they were like, no. And they just dropped it and they let it go. This doesn't have any worth because I didn't give it any worth. It was worthless in their hands. And they eventually realized, oh, it's worthless. Now I don't want it. And they dropped it. And I share that with you because all of my relationships, people just let me go. Even though I gave and I gave and I gave. And if you continue to be this person who says, oh, I really need you to be there for me and you really need to show up for me, and they can't do it, they're going to freak out and they'll be angry and frustrated because you've changed. Now you're not the person who's the therapist anymore. You're demanding that they fix your problems. You're demanding that they hold space for you, and they're going to get mad and they're going to let go. That's what happened. That's what destroyed my relationships. That ruined my relationships. And you can see it happening right here because this person doesn't find joy in supporting you. How do you know that? Because they're not doing it. I really want you to start thinking about what a great friendship looks like today and in the future, and making steps towards making that happen. I hope this helps. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.